This is the BGG climbers list for the week ending 1/13/2021. This list is put together every week by Michael Alexander. And if you like this video, please take a look at the list. The links will be in the description. Please also like the video and subscribe. So let's take a look at the list. So first we have the fallers. And this is interesting that Quacks went up and then down. I don't know if it was a glitch. The other one that was interesting is Spirit Island dropped, Mage Knight dropped, and War of the Ring dropped, which makes me... I haven't actually looked at what caused this, but I suspect it is one of the hot games moving up there. I forget which one. Probably Pandemic. Well, I don't think Pandemic would be up there yet. Maybe Gloomhaven. Fall and the Gloomhaven small box. So let's take a look at the sub 10 ones. One interesting one here is Clank Legacy. So this jumped 5 spots with a 70 ratings or so. This is probably one of the top of my list for legacy games. The interesting thing is this is actually pretty highly rated for so few ratings. It only has about 3,000. It's already at 67 with an 8.8 average. This thing is, assuming enough people rate it, it's probably going to be a top 10 game at this rate. Let's see what else here. So we have Eclipse, Second Dawn. So this thing's been skyrocketing up the list. I actually haven't been able to find a copy of it because I didn't get in the Kickstarter, and it's basically not available in the United States right now. But they're saying they're going to have another Kickstarter, maybe with an expansion, or maybe, I assume at this point they're just going to reprint it because there's so much demand for it. So we'll see that happening later this year. A lot of ratings already, probably more coming. And Season 1 reroll for Dice Throne. It's climbing up pretty quickly with high ratings because, everyone, Dice Throne is a very popular game, and this is, a remake of Season 1. Cloud Age is one of the more anticipated games on my list. It is not doing as well as I had hoped. So, I'll have to try it out at some point, but this is not looking like another Great Western Trail or Maracaibo. And here we are, number 10, ReNature. So this one I don't think has been on the climbers list yet. This one, we're going to compete for best ground. It looks like a tile laying game. Let's see here. Area majority influence. So each player is going to get a board with large pieces of wood in the form of turf, brushes, pines, and oaks. These plants are used for majorities in the large player board. So I think one thing, if I remember this is Wolfgang Kramer and Michael Kiesling. Wow, these guys are putting up a huge amount of games. Let's see if we can see a better picture of these. These tiles look really good. Okay, looks like you kind of have to match these tiles to play them. Or unless people are just messing with that. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe there's some rules for not matching. We'll have to see. The game looks good. The fact that they're like chunky wooden tiles, I think, are going to attract a lot of people. Kind of goes with the nature theme. Not too complex a game, but it is by some pretty popular designers. So let's see here. The ratings haven't been too strong, though. So I'm guessing this isn't going to climb to be too high. But we'll have to see as more ratings come out. So that's number 10, ReNature. Number 9, Praga Kapoot Regni. So we've talked about this one a few weeks. This is the latest game from Vladimir Suki. And it's actually getting much better ratings than I expected. I wasn't super impressed with the Kickstarter when it came out, at least for my tastes. I thought it had some kind of weird 3D stacking thing, which I'm never a fan of in board games, really. But it does look like the gameplay is there. I'm interested to see because I'm a huge fan of Pulsar. Anyway, that is number 9, Praga Kapoot Regni. I think this one has a good shot up top 100, assuming it actually gets enough ratings. It's going pretty strong already. Beyond the Sun is number 8. So this one is on my top to play list as well. I don't know anyone that actually owns it, and even if they did, we're not in the best shape to be playing games right now. I've been doing all my gaming online or only with my my wife recently. But this one's staying pretty strong. The ratings for this have been pretty good. I think people really like the tech tree aspect of it. You're basically building a tech tree and kind of have some exploration, other stuff happening. And I'm going to say this is probably going to get at least a top 200. We'll see if it manages top 100, but it's a long ways off. It's a very slow climb for this game. So that's Beyond the Sun, number 8. Number 7, Pandemic Legacy Season 0. So this one is a game that looks destined for the top 10. It's hitting consistently around 9 for the last number of weeks. There's already 1,000 ratings. I have the game. It'll probably be the first Legacy game I play after the pandemic is over. So, either that or Clank Legacy. I have to make a call on that one. But this one I'll probably play this one just because it's newer. And if people aren't aware, which I'm sure everyone is, this is a game where they've taken the Pandemic Legacy style and adapted it to spies in the Cold War, which was kind of fortunate that they did this year, because I think Pandemic sold really well, but I think maybe by now people are done with pandemics. They like to have something different. So that is number 7, Pandemic Legacy Season 0. Under Falling Skies. So this is a solo game of essentially alien invaders, where you're trying to prevent the aliens from destroying or taking over Earth. It's a solo-only game, and it's really doing well. Possibly because of the pandemic, possibly because of how good it looks. Like, I like this little thing, the dice. I feel like they could have went with the non-wooden dice for this game, but there's always cost versus how they think it's going to do. The alien invaders look really good. The artwork looks good. So, and I think the gameplay is pretty solid for a solo game. I think there's a lot of depth here. So this might be a game that's on track to hit top. Well, I think it'll probably hit top 200. We'll see if it manages to hit top 100. This ratings have been pretty strong. Actually, it's been getting stronger in the last few weeks. So that is Under Falling Skies, number 6. Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion. Okay, yep. So this is number 11. So this is what knocked him down. Pull the brakes, Jaws of the Lion. You don't even try to get near Brass Birmingham. You've already gone over Great Western Trail. So, Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion is the latest Gloomhaven game, probably the best Gloomhaven game, in my opinion, because it really condenses the Gloomhaven experience down into a form that most people can enjoy at a very reasonable price point for a board game, with the adventure book, with the characters, with all the legacy-esque Gloomhaven campaign stuff in a approachable manner. This very well is going to hit number 1, I think, at 8.93. If not, it's going to be very close. But it's going to, it's definitely a contender for number 1 game. That would be unusual to have 2 Gloomhaven games at number 1 and 2. So that's Gloomhaven, Jaws of the Lion. Kanban EV. So I think this is maybe the second week or first week that this is on the list. So this is the reprint of Kanban with the deluxe version, with the cars. Now I think Kanban's a good game. I think it's a bit more, I don't know. I think it plays better with 3 than it does with 4 people. I guess that's the way to say. It does look cool. Like, this edition looks really good. The Inno Tool artwork, the deluxeified stuff, you know, player boards that have, dual layer player boards. It looks really good. The redone layout of the board, so it makes a little bit more sense. I always thought the board didn't make a whole lot of sense the way it was laid out. The cool looking cars, and I think there was even a add-on for metal cars in this, which is cool. Now, given that it's a reprint, I think it's going to do well, but also given it's a reprint, it probably won't get enough ratings to hit the top 100. We'll have to see, but I mean, Kanban is a little bit older of a game. There's going to be Lacerda fans that buy it, but after that, it may peter out and not get enough ratings. So we'll have to see if this one continues. Obviously, the people that got it probably already played Kanban, probably already like it a lot. And there you have it. So that's number 4, Kanban EV. Number 3 is Lost Ruins of Arnac. So this one has been picking up some steam. I've seen a lot of people commenting on how good of a game this is. Now, like I said, I mentioned this before. I played the game. I think it's a good game. I don't think it's to my liking, but maybe Dune Imperium or one of the other deck building worker placement is going to be a little bit better. Here's a game where you're going to be exploring tombs, finding guardians, and documenting your research and stuff. So I think, though, the uniqueness, or this being the kind of the first deck building worker placement game to get out there with such a good look to it and with solid gameplay, this is probably on its way to top 100 land. So there you have it. That is number 3, Lost Ruins of Arnac. Number 2, Dune Imperium. So this is the other deck building legacy game. Now, if we look at these, you can see the average rating for new games is about the same, but Dune Imperium is doing a little better. Now, I don't know if that's due to theme or gameplay. I do know that most reviewers I've seen have said that Dune Imperium is amazing, and just because of that, I want to try it, even though I wasn't planning on originally playing this game. I do think Lost Ruins of Arnac looks better. I don't think the artwork here, it almost looks like it was all 3D rendered, and the game board, they just picked up a bunch of wooden pieces that kind of look like other games, and that worked for this. Even though I'm sure that they did some design with the pieces, they just kind of look very generic. And the board itself doesn't look amazing to me. I think the Lost Ruins of Arnac board, really, the artwork and everything is very cohesive. The custom pieces are really cool. I think they did a better job with that. But as we all know, board games are about gameplay over the components. So, Dune Imperium may have that going for it. Looks pretty good. I do actually mean to play Dune at some point, but again, that's like a 6-player game that you have to teach everyone how to play. So it may be a while. I do think, since Lost Ruins of Arnac is well on its way to top 100 land, I think Dune Imperium is certainly going to be there. The ratings are just too strong at this point, I think, for it to not end up in top 100 at some point. So that's number 2, Dune Imperium, and our top game of the week is Darwin's Journey. So this is interesting. There's actually people saying 102 ratings already. Is there a tabletop module? And it looks like it's on Tabletopia because it's on Kickstarter. And people are probably playing it there. Now, this is interesting. So this is a Thundergriffs Games, which I think are best known for role player and cartographers. A pretty heavy game, actually, about, I guess, Darwin's Journey. Done by, Simone Lucani, I think, which I believe has designed some games that I thought were really good. So this one looks pretty appealing in terms of the artwork. I think it kind of got like this historical look to it. I saw it on Kickstarter, but I passed on backing it just because I backed a lot of games that still need to happen. It's actually got a back this project button now. I haven't noticed that on any other games. But it's doing really well. So it's 2000% funded. I guess they undersold themselves on this. This one's going to be a big game. So it's a worker placement Euro game which recalls Charles Darwin's memories on his adventure through the Galapagos Islands, which contributed to the development of his theory of evolution. Interesting. So your workers get specialized in the game. I don't know. I mean, this kind of comes down to what I've said before. For me, I feel like if I'm going to play a worker placement game nowadays, I might just play A Feast for Odin. It is such a good game and incorporates so many different strategies, but worker placement's a very solid mechanism, and maybe I'll give this one a try in the future. So there we have it. That is Darwin's Journey. I doubt we're going to see this one in top 100 anytime soon, just because it's going to be a while till people get their hands on it. I also say that for early ratings, it isn't as strong as I would expect for a Kickstarter game. Now, this also brings up the comments that people made. Sometimes people put 1s ratings for Kickstarters. Sometimes people put 10s to kind of skew it on BGG. I kind of think both are unfair. I do think if you play it on Tabletopia and you have a real rating for it, it's fine to rate it. But I think if you're just putting ratings down to offset, or because people are putting 1s and 10s and stuff, it doesn't really contribute anything to BGG. But that's my opinion. So that is the top 10 BGG climbers for the week ending 1/13/2021. If you like this video, please like and please subscribe. Please take a look at our other videos. Thank you.